purpose is to increase your blood sugar, so you have something to use. Your muscles and your brain need sugar, so increasing your blood sugar during the morning is a very important thing to happen, so you can have energy when you do things. Not a problem. There's a normal morning rise, 8 to 9 a.m. usual, but this is the problem with too much cortisol. What happens is if the cortisol is excessively produced or chronically produced, elevated throughout the day, then it can cause excessive blood sugar elevation, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, can lead to what's called adrenal burnout, cause weight gain, obesity, heart disease, cancer, depression, all these things that we're talking about. So cortisol is very, very damaging. It suppresses your immune system. Not only you get sick more often, but this is the link to cancer that many people are seeing, particularly lymphomas or other type of bone or cancers. Anyway, so that's the problem. So what happens is that if you're stressed out throughout the day too much, then you're not going to sleep well at night. So you're stressed out, so you may not get into much dream state sleep. You might have one good dream, then you wake up in the middle at 2 a.m. thinking about all the things you got to do, or how somebody wronged you, or you think about the money the bills that have to be paid, and how you're going to make this, how you're going to do that, or about the kids, then you're going to try to go back to sleep, and so you do, but if you don't get into a good dream state cycle, you produce only a little bit of growth hormone, but not much. You produce less serotonin because you're not getting good restorative sleep, and wake again at 4 in the morning, and then again at 5 and 6, and then you just lay there and wait till dawn to come, miserable, thinking, oh my goodness, it's another night without adequate sleep, and then you're so stressed out even thinking about the fact that you haven't slept well that you now have to get in your car, get into the freeway, drive half an hour and a half, some of you are driving into traffic to just sit down at another job you don't like, just do it all again the next day, and then the weekend comes, and then the shopping, and then the lawn has to be mowed, the yard, and all this other stuff's going on, and the kids have to be taken here and there, and you can't even cope because it's just too much. Cortisol being just pumped out till it burns out and it's not produced anymore. Cortisol being pumped out. Now, a lot of things. We talked about stress. The adrenaline and cortisol is being pumped out. But if you then the fact that you haven't slept well, you're going to be drinking more caffeine. I had a patient come into me one day in my office. She said, Dr. McNamara, can you prescribe me a sleeping pill? I said, because I'm not sleeping. I said, well, okay. I said, I don't mind doing that occasionally, but tell me, first of all, before I prescribe you a sleeping pill, what's going on? Why aren't you sleeping? And she goes, oh, I don't know. I sit there and I just think it all night, and I just all jittery. And I said, well, you drink a lot of caffeine? And she said, well, I have some coffee. I said, well, how much coffee do you drink? And she said, well, I drink 1 or 2 pots a day. I thought, my goodness. I said, why are you drinking 1 or 2 pots of coffee? She goes, because I'm not sleeping. So she was in this vicious cycle where she was so tired, she took caffeine to keep her going to the day, but that also kept her awake at night. Lack of estrogens, hormones, particularly as women go through menopause, perimenopause. They'll wake up in the night constantly. I used to prescribe the bioidentical hormones when I was practicing medicine, but that's beyond the scope of this topic. There are benefits to hormones. There's a risk and benefits to everything, but there are benefits. And one of them is getting your hormones balanced out. But nonetheless, there are other ways of doing things. But I just want to show you that this is the cycle that we can get on. So what happens is that we have less melatonin, particularly as we age. But if you're stressed out, you'll make less melatonin, and this whole thing gets out of whack. So melatonin replacement, supplementation with melatonin, and USANA has a pure melatonin called Pure Rest to help with restorative sleep, to replace this melatonin that declines naturally with age, and that helps you with stress, because what happens is people who are stressed out will have these effects. So if you're stressed out, you might want to increase your Pure Rest, because then you can get some better sleep and it will help reduce the effects of that. So cortisol, A couple of review things. Increases the visceral fat. And as a matter of fact, it's the visceral fat that's more associated with chronic degenerative diseases like heart disease than is any other type of fat. So some people go get liposuction, you get the fat sucked out, but that's not the fat that'll kill you. You may think you look better, but usually what happens is it comes back. The fat that's going to kill you is the fat that's around your organs. That's why we have a USANA reset weight management program, a USANA foods, to help you to kind of get there. Most of us are not perfect. You might look at somebody else and say, oh my goodness, they've always able to manage their weight. Well, some people have to take some more energy to manage it than others. But nobody's perfect. Everybody has issues in life. So it's just a matter of we're on a journey together. So again, we talked about it suppress the immune system. Did you know that cortisol can reduce bone formation? Your bones aren't just, you just don't grow your bones one day, and then all of a sudden once your bones are set, they're like steel rods there, and they're in place until you go through menopause, and then they start breaking down. The bones are in a continual state of building up and breaking down, a constant turnover. And this homeostasis is the fact that your bones are strong because, one, you're using them. So stress on your bones, weight-bearing exercises will strengthen your bones because your bones will know to be stronger. But what happens if you're not getting the right amounts of calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, boron, vitamin K, then your bones can get weaker. If you're stressed out, the cortisol raises up, and it will cause this so your bones don't build up, and therefore the bone formation will get weaker. So you'll actually get weaker bones, and you can, which you may think of that's no big deal, but when you know that for people over the age of 50, a fracture, especially a fracture, in the top leading causes of death, then it may be more of a concern. Okay, how about this? Cortisol. Just the fact that you're stressed out, the cortisol affects your memory and learning. And so that, therefore, you're thinking, well, I can't remember this, or I can't remember what my keys, because you're stressed out. So when I get stressed out, one of the things I picked up from a movie, The Shooter, I think it was, is what is it? It says the saying, smooth is slow. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. That's what I always say to myself. When I start to get a little rushed, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Because you're going to notice that you try to do things too rapidly. You're just trying to do everything, and you're kind of all harried, and you start making mistakes, and then all of a sudden, what you were planning on doing was just taking you longer than if you just would have done it a little bit more slowly, taking your time and methodical. So slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Sometimes I repeat myself to slow me down every once in a while. Collagen. Okay, ladies. You don't like wrinkles, then get better sleep, and that's why they call it your beauty sleep, and reduce the stress, which helps reduce the stress, helps you get restorative sleep, is the melatonin, and helps keep the collagen up, are the nutrients, particularly proflavanol C 100, USANA's grapeseed extract. Proflavanol C helps with skin health, and collagen is not just found in your skin, it's also found in your arteries, so that can be a problem. And of course, the reproductive system, not only for reproduction, but also for sexual performance, is an issue. Weight gain, that's a big thing today. I mean, obesity in kids and adults, and it's just being, it's a common thing that most people can identify with. Most people are familiar with weight gain. Most people have experienced weight gain, and as you get older, it's a little more difficult because the hormones are changing. And this is exactly why you have trouble with weight as you get older, because the hormones change. The lack of sleep can accelerate this process. So why make it harder for yourself? Excessive stress can accelerate this process of getting your hormones out of whack and causing weight gain. A lack of exercise, of course, not only are you not burning off these calories, but a lack of exercise make you more susceptible to stress, can make your mood hormones come down, and you're not getting the sleep. So getting a good amount of exercise will actually reduce your stress, which will, and so with the reduction of stress and the cortisol, and the burning off the calories, the exercise is one of the best things that you can do for yourself to keep yourself healthy mentally and physically. And to get better sleep. Again, the lack of hormones, I already mentioned that. High glycemic foods. This is a problem. High glycemic foods would be the white flour or white rice or sugary foods or starchy foods. they spike your sugar up. The faster these enter your bloodstream, these sugar enters your bloodstream, the higher the glycemic food. And that will cause an insulin spike, which will then cause your cell to say, we've got a lot of food coming in here, we better store it for a rainy day, and start shoving it into your fat cells, and then it will oxidize your insulin receptors, making it insulin resistant, leading to type 2 diabetes. So it's a whole big problem. Lack of nutritional supplementation. We don't call our supplements replacements, because this USANA nutritional supplements should be there to supplement a good nutrition, a good healthy diet. You just can't take supplements and think, well, I'm taking these great supplements, so therefore I don't need to eat as well, therefore I don't need to sleep as often, so therefore I can deal with more stress. Well, yes, actually, if you are in those situations, because you cannot control all the stressful situations you will face, because I have been so stressed out in my life that I felt like if I wasn't taking something, if I wasn't doing something, I would have felt like I would have died earlier. I would have been dead of a heart attack, because of the stress was the type of stress that just constricts in your heart and pulls at you and just squeezes at you to you think you're going to die, and it won't stop. It's relentless. Those are the times when you need extra supplementation, you need extra exercise, you need better sleep. And so we have supplements that help you maintain better health of your brain and of your body and everything else you have. Okay, what determines whether these foods go into your muscles to get burned off, or whether they get diverted to your fat cells to plump up your fat cells to get them all nice and juicy and fat? Well, what determines this is depends on whether these are milkshakes or whether they're USANA Nutrimills. USANA's Nutrimills are healthy weight management drinks. They're low glycemic foods, certified to have a glycemic index of 23. That's between vegetables and fruit. Glycemic index of 23 is very low, and having a low glycemic index, they'll get diverted to the muscles to be burned off.